Brett from Cake and Eat It Free, and we have had a question from one of our followers. And sometimes, because we've been doing this 20 years, we forget that people who are just getting started want some of the how do we begin things covered in our videos and in our blog posts. So we have had a question with regard to a road trip that somebody would like to do from the rough geographical area of Gympie to Longreach, and we thought we would just touch on how we go about planning a road trip, or what do we get out first?
Okay, first
Chief
up.
Travel driver / planner.
Yo. Okay, I'm looking at the Queensland map, for example.
In camps 10.
So I have an overview of basically where I want to go. So I check out, okay, we'll go Gympie, Longreach.
So for anyone who has camps 10 and they want to follow along, we're on page 1 of the Queensland section.
And okay, I'll check a direction I want to go, and I've researched already, for example, what I want to see along the way. I've got a time frame also in mind. In this case, I won't say a couple of weeks, so I've got heaps of time. It's approximately 1,120 kilometres. So I'm going to go up the coast. There's a lot to see on the coast. Up to Rockhampton, and then straight inland from Rockhampton to Longreach. So I know how many kilometres now. I know which way I'm going. So therefore, I go to my next page, which will be. It shows me in greater detail.
Page 13, if you're following.
In greater detail where I am and how I'm going. So we've got Gympie. It'll also show me some places that I can stay for free and caravan parks and so forth.
So that will depend on your rig. So obviously we know everyone's going to have a different setup. So make sure that you do check. If you're self-contained, obviously you're going to have much better options about where you can stop, especially if you've been driving all day and you just need a rest stop. So we're not going to go into what type of rig you have and which of these campsites are going to be suitable to you, because you all have to just, you all know your rig, you all know what your, acceptance level is. Some people can literally just pull up in a car, chuck out a swag and they're happy. So it'll depend on a lot of different factors.
So I'm looking at a day. We'll go up to Maryborough. I mean, this is not a big day, but we'll go into Harvey Bay, and then from there, we'll maybe pick Childers, for example, little inland. You find a lot more free places inland than on the coast due to shires and caravan parks and their pressure they put onto free camping areas. So, say Childers, for example, I'll open up. We have 171, 170 and 172. So on the area, little icons here, Childers. So I'll open them up, and I have Apple Tree Creek rest area. That's free. What's the other one? Apple Tree Creek Hotel, which is usually pretty good. Usually these hotels, they'll allow you to stay for free.
If you're self-contained.
Obviously self-contained.
And you buy a beer, which is never a problem with Brett.
Yeah, no drink driving, yeah.
Yeah, no drink driving. So, but if you have a meal or have a drink, generally the country pubs are fabulous. In fact, there is some Facebook groups that will have pub stopovers and where you can stop out the back of. Yep.
So you've got the Childers rest area as well. So there are 3 free areas within the Childers. Probably within a kilometre, really, looking at that, a couple of kilometres.
Yeah.
So there's a good choice there. So that's pretty much how I plan my trip. What I'm going to see in between point to point, how long it's going to take me to reach my final destination, in what you want to see in between.
And everyone's going to have a different list for that. So it depends if you've got kids, it depends if you like ocean activities, it depends if you just want to head out, get off the beaten track. So again, we're not going to go into that because that will be completely different for every single person. But probably our highlights of all that are work out how long you've got, work out what point A to B you're going to try and get to and from in what period. And obviously don't forget the return. And then work out what you want to see along that route. And there's many ways in which, you can do that. Asking around on Facebook, looking at other people's blogs, seeing people who've done it before. So once you've got that down, then you've got your places to stay.
These icons in the book are quite good as well. It'll tell you if you can have dogs. You might take your pets with you. So it can tell you if you can have dogs in the area, and free camping and so forth.
Yep.
Whether you've got reception, what sort of rig you'll have, whether you have a motorhome or a large rig, a bus for example.
Whether it's
caravan.
Yeah.
Some of these free places you can stay have dump points, have water to top up your caravans.
We've got heaps of tips on the blog too for free camping. So whether that be tips for washing, whether that be tips for what to take, gear to take, all of that stuff is on the blog. Just use the search bar and type in free camping or road tripping, and you'll get a list as long as our arm.
Yeah, I often use the book for part of my research and the app, Camps app, for the other end of my research. So
Camps Australia Wide is the app.
Yep.
So Camps 10 book, Camps Australia Wide app, and we use them, with each other. So, yep.
I like to make notes in the book and to
Yeah.
basically see an actual map. I like to feel and look at the map so I know where I'm basically going. So if we waste too much time in one area,
Or we've met up with people,
or we met up with
a few
people,
too many happy hours.
and all of a sudden we've got to find a place quickly to sleep. A free camp, for example, or even a caravan park, which is something we don't do often. We sometimes have to. I'll open up the app and it'll show me within that app the closest area. So it'll show me as a little blue dot on the map, location, and then anything that's close to me. So, and then from there I can work out that, okay, we've got a couple of hours of sunlight before the roos come out, and we need to drive to that location.
Yeah.
So.
And we've generally taken notes down because sometimes you're going to have better service than other places as well. So, always have a general idea, and that's where the planning comes in. If you do that before you go, it's going to take a lot to shake you, Some people say, do you get nervous? You don't know where you're going to sleep like the next night or whatever. But when you're self-contained, particularly all our rigs have really been just to give you an idea, we have Tented Australia, Brett has Hitchhiked Australia many moons ago, we have Caravan Australia, we have Short Wheelbase Camper Van Australia, and now we have our dream rig, but that took years. Like we've been doing this for 20 years or more. So, Brett, a lot longer. Sorry, honey. It doesn't matter how you do this. You know your rig, you know what you're going to need to a large extent. And if you are just getting started, jump on cakeandeat3.com, have a look at what we recommend. We know how to do it budget, and we know, that you don't need a great deal to get out and be doing this. So a cockatoo just flew past a beautiful open window. Sorry.
Got my attention.
I know. So there you go. That's planning a road trip using Camps 10 and Camps Australia Wide app.
That's what I like to use personally. They both work quite well together.
Yep. Now, the other thing I think we were going to just mention was it doesn't matter where you are and in which part of Australia that you're trying to do this road trip. They're the basics. Get where you're going from, where you're going to, how long you've got, and what you want to see along the way. And really then you can plan out, and if one day turns into 3 somewhere because it was awesome, where you take from one, you got to give it back. So you just lose out the next destination. And people who have kids are going to try and tie in some educational opportunities. People who have pets have to try and avoid the national parks. Anything is possible, and that's, I think, the main part, isn't it?
Yeah.
You get those basics down pat, it won't matter where you're going to and from. You'll, be able to plan your road tripping and make the most of your time on the road. So I just have to say thank you for Nicole for asking that question, and we do try our best to answer, whether it be in a video, a post, or already on the blog, all of the questions that we do get asked. So I'm glad we had chief driver / planner with me for this one. We all know how much he loves being behind the camera. And any other questions, just let us know.